Hello, folks, and welcome to the Counting Sheep podcast. This is episode 64. My name is Ruth, and I'll be your host for this podcast. And welcome to my little corner of the YouTube universe. Here, I come to you from the state of Vermont in the U.S., where we're experiencing very, very cold temperatures today, this being February 9th, 2026. And over the weekend and today, it's been quite cold. Negative numbers, below 0 Fahrenheit. And really good, warm, woolly weather to get your sweaters, all the good warm woolly mittens out, and hats and sweaters and all sorts of it certainly is a maker's weather paradise here. If you haven't joined me before, I welcome you. This is my podcast about everything I get up to in terms of making, and that being crocheting, knitting, and spinning. If you've joined me before, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back and joining me again. I come here every 2 weeks, and thanks for being here. It's so good to hear from you. I had a lot of great comments on my last episode. The sun is out today. It's what they call a bluebird day, not a cloud in the sky, and so it's really kind of a crystalline day. I start off where to find me. I am Rabbit Lady on Ravelry, and I am Counting Sheep at Sunrise Hill on Instagram and Threads, and then I'm Counting Sheep over on Facebook. I also have a an email account for the for my channel, and that is just so I don't forget to tell you, Sunrise Hill Farm and Crafts at gmail.com. And I'll put it up here on the screen, and then I'll put it up later on towards the end of the podcast. And then what I'm wearing, I have on the Wharf Street vest, and this is by Elizabeth Smith, who hails from Freeport, Maine. She's a local gal to us here in northern New England. And as you can see, it's a nicely textured vest. I made this out of Highland from Harrisville, which is also from northern New England, from Harrisville Designs in New Hampshire. Yeah, so I love this vest. It's a lovely, nice woolen vest for a cold day like today. So I usually start off with crochet, and then we move into knitting. I usually talk about spinning after that, but I haven't been talking about spinning lately, and we'll have to put a remedy on that pretty soon. But today I have a couple of winners to announce. My very first gift away for my 500 subscribers. So we'll do that at the end. Just to thank you all for being with me and for supporting my channel. I thank you all for joining me. As always, it's so nice to have the love. So getting into crochet, I do have a finished object, finally. For you who have been following me for a while, you know I've been showing this for quite some time, and that is the Stem and Petal Shawl, and this is by Valerie Marino. I worked long and hard on this week to get this done, and I do have the still have the progress keeper marker in here just to show you where I was the last time I showed this to you, which was 2 weeks ago. So As you know, this was done with a sign pooling yarn, and it was a yarn I picked up from Cozy Color Works at the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, otherwise known as Rhinebeck. And that is the ball band from them. And then it was the number 15 colorway. And here is where I was. Let's see, down here. So you can see my little pink stitch marker there. Purpley pink stitch marker. And then if I bring it back, you can see how large this is. Yeah, this has turned out to be pretty gorgeous. So the pattern has you save about 20 grams of the color at the end so that you can do this lovely kind of border, which is kind of a ribbing border in crochet. But you do keep the integrity of this special stitch when that little blip of color comes along. So yeah, this is kind of a, you know, it's a asymmetrical triangle. Probably have to play with it a little bit to get it to go over my shoulders. But yeah, and maybe a little shawl pin to go with it. But yeah, it looks, it's a pretty gorgeous color, I think. And I love how the little stitches kind of just came through. So yeah, very pretty. I really enjoyed making this too. It was kind of, I wouldn't say mindless, but very potato chippy. And once you got the stitch down, you really just didn't need the pattern anymore to go by. And who doesn't love that, right? So very proud of that. I did not block this yet, but I'm not sure it really needs it. It has lovely drape on its own, you know, and it doesn't need to be opened up at all. It's not lacy, so it has no need to be opened up anymore. I will check the measurements on it. I think she says, oh, what does she say? Here's where I get a little confused. She has the length listed as 51 inches, the width 44 inches, and then the wingspan as 28. No, wait, the wingspan as 68, and then the depth as 28. So I have to kind of figure out which is which there. So, but you know, when it comes to a shawl, it is what you prefer it to be. If you want it to be a little bigger, it's all in the blocking, you know. I kind of like it the way it is, so we'll see about that, but it may not need blocking at all, and I may just leave it as it is. So, but yeah, so that is my stem and petals. Highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun to make, so yeah. So one project off the hooks, and yeah, so moving along. Wanted to show you just a little bit of progress that I got done on my Lola cardigan. And if you recall, this is a project that I started during Advent as a way to use the yarns that I was opening up from my Advent calendar, which I obtained from the Toad Hollow ladies. And if you don't know, Toad Hollow is a couple of gals in New Jersey who hand dye yarn, and they put out an Advent calendar last year, and I combined mine with a skeiny yarn that I picked up in Arizona, not last fall but the fall before, and It is by a dyer called Dylicious Yarns, called Four Peaks. This is a 75 merino, 15 nylon, and 10 tensile, and 800. I got 800 yards here, fingering weight. So that's kind of my main color, kind of a base color, gray. And I'm using the 24 little skeins. Oops, there goes my hook. And I'm using the Lola Cardigan pattern by Lola Yarn. And that is the sweater. And I actually stopped the body because I like the length on the body. So I didn't go the full length on the body that the pattern dictates, only because I'm a short person. So let me just stand up for this. So this is how far I went with the body and ended with my main color here. And then I started the sleeves. So as you can see, kind of doing the same thing with the sleeves, is alternating the main color with the colors from the Advent. So started here, and then I divided the ball of yarn into 2 equal balls so I could do both sleeves at the same time. So once I got that one done, now I'm doing this one and just keeping track that way. So I'll have a lot of yarn ends to work in once I'm done, but that'll be one afternoon or two in front of the TV, I'm sure. Or with a good audiobook for sure. So yeah, but I think it's just going to be marvelous. It's going to be a great cardigan to put on and wear. So let me see if I can get this all to line up so you can kind of get an idea. Yeah, very pretty. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Like I said, making decisions as I go along. I haven't decided, once again, on the finishing on the bottom yet, whether I'm going to do a ribbing or whether I'm just going to kind of go straight with the hem. And also for the finishing on the front openings. I'm not sure about where I'm going to go with that either. But what's nice about a top-down cardigan like this is that you can put off those decisions until you're kind of ready to make them. So it's kind of fun to dabble, and you know, it's almost like painting, you know, here with all these lovely colors, painting with yarn and making decisions, and yeah, it's all good. It's all fun, and we should all be doing more of that, right? Being creative and having just the bones of a pattern and kind of going from there. So highly enjoyable. All right, the other thing I don't have with me here, but I haven't had any progress on it, so best not to show you because there's been no progress, is the Melrose Vest. And if you recall, that is a design from the Scottish Journal of Yarns. It's a Tunisian crochet vest that I started with gosh, I'm kind of blanking right now. Anyway, it's a Tunisian crochet vest, and it almost looks like it's woven. But I haven't had any progress on that. West Yorkshire Spinners, Morris DK, that's what I'm doing it in, because I was trying to get some things done, namely this. I wanted to get a few things done before I progressed with that a little bit further. But my plans are to go forth with that. But I didn't want to, clutter things up by bringing that up here. But I will show more of that next time. The other thing I got a little bit of progress done on was the textured rib cardigan, and that is for my niece's son. And this is a pattern that I had test crocheted quite a while back. This is a cardigan pattern done by Oksana Sorokin, and that's the cardigan there. And I did get one of the fronts done. I am making this in Mary Maxim rag worsted weight yarn. That's what that looks like. This is 100% acrylic, easy care. And I'm making the 3 to 4 year old size. And this happens to be the right front. So, now, this is an interesting construction because it goes side to side. So you start over here on this seam, kind of, and you work this way so that you're actually ending with the button band over here. And then the button band is actually worked into the side of the front here. And then you're actually working the ribbing at the same time as the front. It's an interesting construction. I kind of like it because then you don't have to worry about working and attaching the ribbing later. The only thing that I'm changing is that in the left front, she has you start by making the ribbing and then picking up stitches, working stitches into the side of the ribbing, which I'm not a real big fan of. So what I decided to do is they're not all different. They're not that different. So I'm just going to make another front because they're essentially the same front and back. So I'm just going to make another right front. The only difference being is that the button band goes on the left front. So I'm just going to make the buttonholes when I get to them on the left front. So that's the only difference. And yeah, that's coming along. And I started the left front already there. Yeah, once you get going with that, that works up pretty quickly. So, and these directions are very, very well written, very descriptive. Every pattern row is worked out for you very well. So she writes a nice pattern. All right, so that's all for crochet that I have. In knitting, I just had a PS on my Nordic bloom vest. I know I showed it last time as a finished object, but I didn't have buttons on it yet. And I wanted to show you, I did put those toggle buttons on that I showed the last time. And I put it on, and it wasn't staying closed with the toggle buttons on it. I think it just wasn't working with the toggle buttons. So I went my button stash again, and I came up with a different alternative. And I also gave the vest a second blocking, just because I wanted to work that color work a little bit further out. And I'm really happy now with this. Just wanted to show it to you again, only because it worked out so much better. So these buttons that I have on here, and you'll notice they're all different woods. These buttons are from a maker. His name is Stephen Willett, and he also hails from New England. Actually, he's a New Hampshire artist. And you'll find him usually at the New Hampshire Craftsman's Fair, which is held during August up here at Lake Sun. Actually, it's at Sunapee, Mount Sunapee. But anyway, these are, they're all different woods, and they're big, but this actual design calls for 30mm buttons, and these are right on 30mm buttons. They're actually so beautiful, and I'm so glad each one of them is a little bit different, because it really speaks to the cardigan vest. Yeah, so I had this on, and it really kind of falls really nicely now. And yeah, I'm so glad I blocked it again. Yeah, and you can see in the back too. Yeah. I just, it laid out for a week, gave it a really good soak, a really good block, and the drape on it now and everything was it's just wonderful. It's just, if you've ever doubted what blocking does for a garment, there's your proof. That it does wonders for a garment. The joke is always, oh, that'll block out. It's true, it will. So yeah, I just wanted to bore you with that again. So on to my next finished object, is my Sophie Scarf. So this is yarn that I picked up in San Diego back in November when I was out there for my nephew's wedding. This is Madeline Tosh, Tosh Petal, can't talk, Tosh Pebble, mill dyed. This is a 48% recycled silk, 36% fine merino, and 16% cashmere in the color Bordeaux. It is a light fingering. You get 224 yards for 25 grams. So there, that's Madeline Tosh Pebble. And that's what that looks like. Yeah, and I got my Sophie Scarf done. So I worked hard on this as well. And there it is. So there's two lengths to this this is by Petite Knit, by the way, the Sophie Scarf, if you're not aware. I feel like everybody in the world has made one of these. And there's two lengths in the pattern. There's one where you work a shorter version versus a longer version. I did the longer version, and I just weighed this yarn, and believe it or not, there's 13 grams left. So you start with 25, there's 13 grams left. So technically you can get another scarf out of this. So more bang for the buck, right? It's a pretty color too. This is my color, actually. I love this color. Really drawn to it. Yeah, and this is another thing that, once again, has such lovely drape all on its own because it's all garter stitch, that I doubt you'd even have to block this, like the stem and petals, except for the fact that you might want to wash the cat hair out of it. My cat is always seeking a warm lap to sit in, and you can hardly blame her with the winter that we've had. But I digress. So yeah, like I was saying, back to drape, it's just got a wonderful hand to it, and I think you can just kind of wear this, right off the needles. So just gorgeous. And it's just so French, I think. It's just really a lovely little neck warmer, to go out and about with. Yeah, and if you want a small little project on your needles that, a couple evenings, you've got it off, and, if you need one of those dopamine hits. Don't ask me why this took me so long from November until now to get done. I don't know. Except that, you know, I'm a squirrel. So, but yeah, highly recommend. A cute little design, and I can understand why people have enjoyed making these little projects. So yeah, that is the Sophie Scarf by Petite Knit. All right, so the other thing that I've kind of been gnawing away at in terms of knitting is I have kind of made a kind of soft agreement with myself, only because I have so much sock yarn kicking around in my stash, and I wanted to see if I could actually do this and hold myself accountable. I've made kind of this soft agreement with myself before of trying to make a pair of socks per month in the year. And I started off the new year casting on a pair of socks, and I kind of slowed down with it, and I'm still, like, PS, I'm still on January socks, and it is February 9th, and it is a short month, and will I get January socks done and actually get February socks casted on? Who knows, right? But who knows, you know. Anyway, I wanted to show you January socks because I picked this yarn up in Quebec going on, not this past December, but the December before. We went to Quebec City for their little holiday market before Christmas, and there was a vendor there who was selling sock yarn sets. And this was the vendor. I'll just show you. This is actually, you can probably Google this, the name, and she'll come up. I've got to tell you though, I've been in contact with her. I tried to order some more yarn from her. Unfortunately, she is not selling to the US because of tariffs, unfortunately, and it makes me sad because she has such a lovely product, and I wanted to buy some more sock sets from her, and unfortunately they are unavailable to us, and I can understand why, because, you know, so there's that. But anyway, here are my socks, and this is a colorway, and my French is really bad, so I can't tell you exactly the translation, but it has something to do with plums or prunes, something like that. But it's a nice little purple and white play. So, and who doesn't love stripes, right? So yeah, so this is, I started the toes with this. So she gives you this little mini here, along with this planned striping, 2 skeins. So I like to do my socks toe up, and then on 1 circular needle, 2 at a time. Because if you know me, basically, if I didn't do my socks 2 at a time, I'd only have 1 sock. So, because I'm a squirrel. So that should be my motto. Ruth the squirrel. Yeah. So, and I think that's why it takes me so long to get a pair of socks done, is because, you know, this is a lot of knitting, doing this, you know, 2 at a time. But, this, you know, it does hold my attention, this, okay, because you really have to keep flipping. You have to keep flipping your yarn, and you have to pay attention, you know, so it's a good thing. It's good for me to pay attention. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to show you this. I mean, unfortunately for us in in the US, this is not available to us unless, of course, you physically go to the shop in Quebec, because she does have a brick and mortar. And maybe that's what I will do again in December, is perhaps go to the Christmas market again in December, which is a lot of fun. Just, you got to bundle up. It gets pretty cold up there. Wear your warm woolies. Yeah, but yeah, and she's lovely. So, so yeah, so hopefully, you know, I can get those done. I'm kind of on the gusset increases right now. And if I make a pair of shorty socks with that, I should be able to have them done pretty soon. And then I'll be able to move on to another pair and get them done. But like I said, one should be able to make a pair of socks in a month. But for me, that's a challenge. All right, moving on to what everybody's been waiting for. As you know, when I reached 500 subscribers, I was going to have a gift away. And last week I showed you that Hope from Hope Made Yarns swooped in and saved my my back end for me. And she donated a prize for 500 subscribers, this lovely sock set, which she has named Winter Sunrise. And this will be going to a US subscriber only because of said tariffs, said whatever, that gets put on people when I send stuff out of the country. And for my out of the US subscribers, they will be getting, the person that I chose from them, they will be getting a Ravelry pattern of their choice. And for the two winners, the one in the US and the one out of the US, all you need to do is, I'm going to put my email again up here. It's sunrisehillfarmandcrafts@gmail.com. Please email me. If you're the US winner, I need your name and address, so I can send you the prize, the yarn prize. And then if you are the international winner, I just would need your Ravelry name, your Ravelry handle, and the pattern that you want, so that I can give that to you. All right, without further ado, I did this by random, you know, I have an Alexis thing, so I put it on her. So I randomly asked her to pick a name, pick the numbers or whatever. And so my US person that I picked, drum roll please, is at Valerie Bishop 561. So Valerie, if you could email me your name and address, congratulations. And then my international person is at Wild Cottage Knitting. And I believe you're in Ireland. So yeah, if you could just email me your Ravelry handle and the pattern you would like on Ravelry, that would be great. Once again, sunrisehillfarmandcrafts@gmail.com. And congratulations and thank you everyone who subscribes to me, and big shout out to all of you. I really appreciate each and every one of you for subscribing, for hitting the like button, and for all of your good vibes. I really appreciate all of you. And that is going to do it for me this time around. Please stay safe, stay warm if you're in a colder environment like me, and keep crafting, and I will see you next time. Take care now.